We're back, Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for staying with us. I'm joined now by Riggs Eckelberry. He's the CEO of Origin Oil Incorporated. OOIL is the symbol. Riggs, good to see you again.
So great to be back.
Yeah, it's been at least a couple months since we last saw you. For those who might have missed you, and we were really talking about you in '08, tell us what the company does.
We're a technology company that's really cracking the code for algae production. It's all about fulfilling the potential for algae, which is ultimately the best biofuel there is.
Well, what's really interesting, since we first were introduced to you, I'm going to say about a year ago, you, Riggs Eckelberry, have become like this international spokesperson for algae as a biofuel source. I'm really glad you're here because you were just recently at the United Nations making a presentation. Tell us about that.
You know, we were invited to speak at the Intergovernmental Renewable Energy Organization, which is affiliated with the United Nations, and sure enough, there I was in this huge room with all the old-style delegate tables and the live interpreters and all that. It was great.
I mean, it's amazing because we're looking at some footage and some stills of that right now. What was the focus of your presentation? I mean, what were you telling these people?
I really needed to develop this idea more and more, which we've been working on, which is what is the paradigm that's really going to break through this whole carbon problem we have. We've got this terrible CO2 problem, and we've got to fix it by 2030, but my talk was about, you know what, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's going to happen at best by 2060. How do we fix it?
Okay, so here you are. I mean, you're I'm going to say, surfing on the lead wave, so to speak, a biofuel using algae as a source, and yet you can say to these people, we're looking at something, 50 years down the road. I mean, you must feel like a real visionary when you're giving these kinds of presentations.
Well, I wish I could say so. The fact is we're pragmatically trying to make algae work in a context that will roll out, not like the big ethanol boom and bust and the big biodiesel boom and bust, but rather through entrepreneurial adoption all over the world, sort of a viral model as opposed to this big centralized energy model.
It's important to explain for those of you who are seeing Riggs for the first time, we're talking about biofuel production using algae as the feedstock as opposed to rice or corn or wheat or other kinds of, what were foods. And that was really causing a problem in the last several years. This really represents the answer to the future of biofuel production, doesn't it?
Imagine fully scalable breweries that anybody can build anywhere in the world at the same time. We call this concept mushrooms after the rain. The whole world can start making biofuels at the point of demand, and that's clearly where this has to go.
And that's really your vision, so to speak, because you've talked about this before. Municipalities, entrepreneurs, the world over are basically owning and operating these algae breweries to provide feedstock at the point where the biofuel production would actually be done, correct?
Exactly.
What's next for the company?
We are moving fast towards commercialization of our extraction technology with a worldwide partner called Decimate Balestra. They're very strong in oil and fat extraction. We're also doing wonderful things in the lab, some big announcements coming. We're very happy about the new tech team that we've built over the last 8-9 months under the leadership of Dr. Petroleum.
Of course.
And we're just going full out, and I think people can't wait until we start delivering on our promise.
Well, you just said something that really piqued my interest, and I hadn't planned on this question during this interview, but you did it, it's your fault. But you just mentioned the possibility of moving into a revenue arrangement as opposed to right now you're really R&D. Do you see that happening sometime soon? Well,
there's been a shift in the company's strategy. We were on a long-term build the end-to-end system, and someday we'll have something there. Well, this bifurcated in the first quarter when all of a sudden we had an opportunity to solve algae oil extraction for everybody who's making algae, even when they don't use our own systems. And so now we're moving to market on a technology that will be embedded, hopefully, into Decimate Balestra's systems that they'll be delivering.
So basically, we're talking about your intellectual property, your procedure that will be licensed out, I'm assuming, to various breweries and manufacturers across the world. I mean, this is the first step towards the end result. Am I getting that right?
So true. And in fact, for the next 5 years, the big growth in algae is going to be in algae ventures. It's going to be a big .com all over again. And they need provisioning. Picks and shovels to the prospectors, as we say. And so we're going to have to provision them with, extraction systems, but also growth systems, the whole array of facilities and know-how. And this is going to be the big boom.
Riggs Ecoberry, Origin Oil, OOIL. Riggs, very exciting. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Don.
There is a treatment for leukemia that has potentially fatal side effects, but doctors are saying that the benefit far outweighs the risk. We're going to talk about that on Health This Week. For more information, go to healththisweek.com. Call us right now, 888-259-4449 for free information about our featured guests, including Maytech Corporation and Origin Oil. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our MoneyTV newsletter. It's free. It's an email publication, but we will not sell or give away your email address. Again, 888-259-4449. That's our program this week. Thanks so much for joining us. As always, we'll see you next week.